If you're thinking about buying a house in Newnan, Georgia right now, this is the only video you need to watch because I'm going to give you the actual 2026 numbers. And buying a house in Newnan, Georgia in 2026 is nothing like buying a house in Newnan, Georgia in 2022. And most agents are still selling you on that old story. So the median sale price in buying a house in Newnan, Georgia right now is sitting like $328,000 to $365,000, $365,000, depending on which zip code we're talking about. I'll tell you exactly where in Newnan, Georgia I would put my own money and where I'd tell my mom not to buy. If you're serious about buying a house in Newnan, Georgia, text me directly at 229-563-3116. I'm a real person, not a call center. So if you're thinking about buying a house in Newnan, Georgia right now, this is the only video you need to watch because I'm not going to give you some fluff. I'm not going to tell you Newnan is charming and the schools are great and call it a market update. You already know that if you've been watching my channel. What I'm going to give you is actual 2026 data on buying a house in Newnan, Georgia. The real median price, the real days on market, the real sale to list price ratio. And I'm going to tell you as a local realtor who lives and works in Coweta County, rather than buying a house in Newnan, Georgia right away is actually a smart move or not, or whether you should really wait. Because buying a house in Newnan, Georgia today is completely different conversation than it was 18 months ago. And almost no one is telling you the truth about that. So my name is Sheree Macaroni. I'm a realtor with Macaroni Homes right here in Newnan, and let's get right into it. So let's start with the number everybody wants to know. What does buying a house in Newnan, Georgia actually cost in May 2026? Honest answer, it depends on which Newnan you mean. I mean, if you're pulling it up on Redfin, the median sale price for the city of Newnan is like from 2026 is about $328,000. That number is down 10% from this same time last year, right? Now, if you go over to movoto.com and you look at their data, which includes a broader Newnan footprint, I mean, it's going to have the median sales price at $415 in March of 2026. So who's right? I mean, they both are. They're just measuring different geographies. It just depends on what your number is. If you're shopping inside of the actual city limits in Newnan, like the older neighborhoods, more starter homes, some historic stock, you're definitely going to be looking at that median sale price at $328,000, anywhere to $365,000. If you're shopping in the broader Newnan areas, which includes 30265 zip code, and like master plan communities like Summer Grove and White Oak, that median price right now is $356,000, but it can go all the way up to $1 million homes in there. And listings in Coweta County overall are trending closer to $417,000. I mean, why does all of this math matter anyways? Because when someone tells you the average home in Newnan is $400,000, or when someone else says it's $328,000, neither of them is lying. They're just slicing the data up differently. And if you don't know which slice that you're looking at, you're going to make a really bad decision. The single most important number I want you to remember is this. Median prices in Newnan and Coweta County are down year over year. We are not in the same market we were in 2023 and 2024. We are seeing these numbers down from this time last year. And those numbers that they pulled up are also showing that. It just depends on which market and which data point you're looking at. So real quick, before we keep going, if you're seriously thinking about buying a house in the Newnan, Georgia area, not someday, but in the next 6 or 12 months, I mean, go down to the description box right now, grab my direct contact link, or just text me. My personal cell phone is in the description. The number is 229-563-3116. That is my direct line, not my office number, not my assistant. That is me. So text me when you're looking for what you're looking for and what your timeline is and what your price range is. I'll send you back some off-market properties, some pre-market stuff that doesn't show up on Zillow, you know, things like that. Okay, so back to the data. This is the number I want every buyer in Newnan to initialize. internalize, get it in their heads, right? Days on market. Days on market. In Newnan, Georgia, the average home in early 2026 has been sitting like 76 days before it goes under contract. That is crazy. Coweta County overall is averaging closer to 90 days at one point this winter. So with the most recent 30-day window running about 37 to 67 days, depending on which zip code you're pulling, compare that to 2022, when the average home was selling in like 2 days, 2 weeks, compared to last year when Newnan was running to 48 to 70 days. We have basically doubled our days on market in 3 years. What does that mean for someone buying a house in Newnan, Georgia right now? It means you have leverage. You have time. You can actually go look at a property twice or even 3 times if you want to. You can sleep on it, for crying out loud. You can ask for repairs. You can ask for rate buy downs. You can ask for closing costs. You can ask for the seller to leave the refrigerator. You can do all the things you couldn't do in 2022. And here is the proof. The sale to list ratio in Newnan right now is sitting around 97.2 to like 97.9%. That means the average buyer in Newnan is paying about 2 to 3% under ask price. That means they're negotiating, people. We're in a great time to buy. In the 30265 zip code, more than 41% of active listings have had a price drop. 4 out of every 10 homes in the market in that part of Newnan have already come down in price from where they started. That's almost half of the homes. Sellers are negotiating. Sellers are dropping prices. Sellers are getting tired. And if you are a buyer and you are still acting like it's 2022, overpaying, waiving inspections, sending letters with pictures of your dogs, you are leaving thousands of dollars on the table. So, mortgage rate, the elephant in the room, right? Now let's talk about this. As of this week in May 2026, the 30-year fixed rate is like sitting, some range of 6.36 and 6.49. I'm not really sure. Percent depending on which source it is that you're pulling. That was just a broad pool search that I did when I was getting ready for today. So Freddie Mac has it around like 6.36%. Bank rate says it's 6.46%. These are for lenders to talk to you about. I am the realtor to help you negotiate. You know, for most buyers, they are quoting something around 6.3 to 6.5 range. I mean, whatever today's market rate is, right? So here's what I want you to understand. Rates have actually come down. They were over 7% this time last year. They were touching 8% in late 2023. Will rates keep going lower? Maybe. Bank rates forecasting an average of around a 6.1% for 2026. Fannie Mae is projecting just above 6% by the year end. The Mortgage Banker Association is like forecasting 6.2, 6.3 for most of 2027. We don't know. We don't have a crystal ball. So here's my honest take. If you're waiting for rates to drop to 4% before you buy a house in Newnan, Georgia, you're going to be renting for a very, very long time. The era of cheap money is over. We are in a 6% world for the foreseeable future. Now, where are you going to buy and what like neighborhood breakdown? Let's talk about that strategy. So buying a house in Newnan, Georgia is not one decision. It's like a dozen different decisions depending on what part of Newnan you are looking for. So let me break down the 3 main plays. So play number 1, the master plan subdivisions, right? These are like Summer Grove, White Oak. This is the kind of community where you have a pool, an amenity center, sometimes a lake or a golf course, and a community Facebook page that drives everybody crazy. Median sale prices in like 30265, which captures most of these communities, they're like $356,000. That's like for the lower end home, right? These homes are going to typically sell faster than the rest of Newnan. The median prices on these homes are like 22 days right now, way under the citywide average. Why? Because school zones are tight, the amenities are real, and the demand is consistent there in those neighborhoods. If you're looking for stability, reliable resale, and rental backup if you ever need to relocate, that may be your play. Play number 2, historic downtown Newnan. It's called the City of Home for a reason. The historic district's full of like these beautiful Victorian and Craftsman architectural 150-year-old homes, like $500,000 for these beautiful bungalows. And I mean, anywhere from over $1 million for some of those restored mansions off of LaGrange Street. This is an appreciation play, right? These are not built anymore. Like, scarcity is a real thing if you're looking for something like that. But remember, they have old plumbing, old electrical foundations. If you don't have a budget for ongoing maintenance and renovation, do not buy a historic home in downtown Newnan. I have walked too many buyers through what it looks like in a dream and what ended up being a $40,000 surprise. So play number 3, the luxury and acreage market. My favorite. This is Arbor Springs. This is the rural acreage market going out towards Sonoy. This is your $1 million play market. These homes take longer to sell. They're not for everybody, but they hold value through inflation. And they appeal to the buyers who are not chasing the latest rate. So, quick word for my investors watching this video. If you're thinking about buying a house in Newnan, Georgia as a rental, you need to understand something. There's no longer a cash flow market. Median rent in Newnan is sitting around $1,800 a month for a typical single family home. If you buy a median price house, $360,000 with 20% down at today's rate, your principal, interest, taxes, and insurance is going to land you somewhere around $2,100 to $2,300 a month. The math is there, and it's vanilla, long-term math. What is working in Newnan right now for investors are 3 things. House hacking, buying a property with the basement or accessory unit and renting out one of those. Median term rental properties, furnished properties, catering to traveling nurses, like for the Piedmont Newnan Hospital. Some of the relocation Yamaha and Kia executives, they do require larger down payments, putting 30 to 40% down to make that math actually work. But buying a house in Newnan, Georgia for investment in 2026 is an appreciation and a wealth preservation play. It's not a cash flow play, right? So think about that different, all my investors out there. So 3 mistakes that buyers are making right now, the 3 mistakes that I'm watching buyers make over and over again in Newnan is A, they're not negotiating. 1, they're not negotiating, right? I told you, 41% of listings in 30265 had a price drop. Sellers are tired. You have leverage. Use it. Ask for the buy down. Ask for the closing costs. Ask for the repairs. The worst, they can say no. Mistake number 2, they're not reading the HOA covenants. Summer Grove, White Oak, Arbor Springs. These communities all have real HOA rules. If you plan to rent your property, paint it a non-approved color, build a shed, run a business, you need to read those covenants during your due diligence period. I cannot tell you how many people have closed and they learn they can't do these things. Mistake number 3, they are skipping the inspection on these historic homes. I mean, why would you skip an inspection period? I don't know. But some people just love things so much they just fall in love with them and they skip the inspection altogether. I mean, I think that's crazy. Let's inspect the property. Charm is not a foundation. Charm is not a roof. Charm is not a sewer line. If you are buying a historic home in downtown Newnan, you need a full inspection, a sewer scope, and ideally a structural review. Spend the money on the front end. Save yourself a 6-figure regret. So, is buying a house in Newnan, Georgia a good investment right now? Here is the honest truth. Yes. If your timeline is 3 to 5 years or longer, Newnan is going to be anywhere close to that. We are 35 to 40 minutes from downtown Atlanta. We are 30 miles from the Hartsfield-Jackson Airport. We have Piedmont, Newnan Hospital, Yamaha Center, Treatment Centers of America, and the broader Coweta County job base. The fundamentals are strong. The market has cooled, which is actually good for buyers, and rates, while not what they were in 2021, are not going materially lower anytime soon. So, if you're trying to flip a house in Newnan in 6 months and make $50,000, this is not your market. If you're planning roots, raising kids, building long-term wealth, buying a house in Newnan, Georgia in 2026 is one of the better bets in the entire Atlanta metro area, right? So, if you watch this whole video, you are exactly the kind of buyer I want to work with. Someone who actually wants the data. Someone who is not falling for the fluff. Here's what I want you to do. If you are 6 to 12 months out from buying a house in Newnan, Georgia, text me. My number is 229-563-3116. I would love to be able to talk with you directly. That's my direct sale. Tell me your timeline. Tell me your price range. I'll start sending you some off-market and pre-market opportunities. If you're already active looking, go to the contact link in the description box below, that macaronihomes.com/contact link. You can fill that form out and I can call you on the same day. Subscribe to this channel, right? I'll do market updates on Newnan, Coweta County every single month with real numbers, no fluff, no spin. Drop a comment below. Tell me where you're moving from, what you're shopping for, what price range you're in, and I'll read those comments and I will be able to talk with you further. My name is Sheree Macaroni with Macaroni Homes, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye.